The most explosive, terrifying, and volatile war in hip-hop history just crossed a lethal red line that can never be uncrossed. In an unhinged public broadcast, Rick Ross has officially issued a severe, final street-level ultimatum to 50 Cent, accusing him of committing the ultimate, unforgivable sin in rap music, exploiting and desecrating Tupac Shakur's 30-year legacy for a quick corporate payout and cheap streaming numbers. Following explosive reports that 50 Cent secretly secured unreleased, vaulted Tupac vocals alongside Eminem for a massive upcoming project, Ross exploded on camera, calling 50 a desperate culture vulture who is cashing out on a dead legend's ghost because his own music no longer moves the needle. Looking directly into the camera lens with cold-blooded intensity, Ross delivered a chilling warning that sent shockwaves through the entire industry, ordering Curtis Jackson to step back immediately before this digital internet commentary turns into a bloody, physical nightmare on the streets. The hip-hop community is in absolute panic. Security teams are going on maximum code red alert, and stay tuned until the absolute end of this video, because the leaked legal threats, private street messages, and 50's ruthless response prove that this two-decade feud has just become deadly serious. To fully comprehend why Rick Ross's violent warning is sending shockwaves through corporate boardrooms and street corners alike, you must understand the sacred, untouched status of Tupac Shakur's legacy. For 30 long years, the catalog, unreleased master recordings, and immortal spirit of Tupac Shakur have been treated as the holy grail of global hip-hop culture. Unlike modern artists who barter their vault for temporary algorithm metrics, Tupac's unreleased vocals are fiercely guarded by his estate, legal representatives, and millions of devoted global fans who view any unauthorized or commercialized manipulation of his voice as pure sacrilege. Tupac Shakur is not merely a legendary recording artist whose records defined an era. He is a cultural martyr, a socio-political symbol of resistance, and a figure whose posthumous catalog has been protected with fierce, uncompromising reverence by West Coast hip-hop purists for 3 decades. Enter 50 Cent and Rick Ross, two ruthless titans locked in an uncompromising, 18-year blood feud that has spanned federal courtrooms, street brawls, album sales wars, and personal character assassinations. The roots of this bitter, unrelenting rivalry run deeper than almost any other conflict in modern music history. What began as a subtle backstage disagreement in the late 2000s quickly spiraled into an all-out war of attrition. 50 Cent, riding the multi-platinum momentum of G-Unit and Get Rich or Die Tryin', unleashed a ruthless campaign against Ross, digging up public records to expose Ross's past as a Florida correctional officer. The Officer Ricky campaign was designed to completely dismantle the street kingpin persona that Rick Ross had built his entire brand upon. Yet, against all industry odds, Rick Ross did not crumble. Instead, he wrapped himself in a fortress of extreme, undeniable luxury. He founded Maybach Music Group, signed global hitmakers, acquired a legendary 235-acre Georgia compound known as the Promised Land, and built a multi-million-dollar business empire spanning fast food franchises, luxury spirits, and real estate. For over 15 years, Ross used his visible wealth as a shield, repeatedly mocking 50 Cent's past corporate bankruptcy filing and positioning himself as the ultimate, biggest boss of hip-hop royalty. However, 50 Cent has spent over 2 decades positioning himself as an untouchable, cold-blooded mogul who operates completely outside traditional industry rules and never forgets a grudge. 50 has treated his feud with Ross not as a temporary media spectacle, but as a long-term content strategy and a personal crusade to expose every flaw in Ross's empire. From making fun of Ross's concert ticket sales to mocking his flying commercial, 50 has pounced on every single vulnerability. The latest escalation reached a boiling point when news leaked from high-level industry insiders that 50 Cent had allegedly obtained exclusive access to archived, vaulted Tupac vocal takes to feature on a high-profile track alongside Eminem for a massive upcoming project. When the report surfaced that 50 Cent was preparing to release a commercial track built around unreleased Tupac studio sessions, the entire music industry held its collective breath. For 50, securing access to Tupac's vault was framed as a historic, Multi-generational power move designed to bridge the gap between two of the most influential eras in rap history while cementing his status as an executive who can pull off impossible industry deals. But to his longtime mortal enemy, the move was seen as something far more sinister. Rick Ross, who has spent years defending his reputation as an authentic boss and culture protector, viewed 50's move as the ultimate act of corporate greed and desperation. Ross saw an enemy using a fallen icon's legacy to buy fake relevance, generate artificial streaming numbers, and hide the fact that his recent television and music ventures were facing intense public scrutiny. To Ross, 50 Cent was breaking an unwritten code of hip-hop ethics by turning Tupac Shakur's unreleased voice into a corporate cash cow for a quick check and clout. The animosity had been quietly boiling in executive boardrooms and private industry group chats for weeks following 50 Cent's relentless online mocking of Ross's recent album sales and real estate claims. But the moment 50 Cent officially teased the unreleased Tupac vocals to the press, the dam shattered, and Rick Ross unleashed a wave of fury that threatens to burn the entire industry to the ground. This was no longer just about album sales, social media trolling, or brand competitions. It had officially crossed into a battle over the soul, ethics, and legacy of hip-hop itself. The detonation occurred during an unannounced, emergency video broadcast posted directly from Rick Ross's sprawling Georgia compound late last night. The scene was set with absolute, terrifying precision. Appearing on screen surrounded by his heavy, imposing security detail, looking visibly enraged behind his signature dark sunglasses, Ross bypassed his usual subtle internet shots and launched a direct, nuclear strike at 50 Cent's head. The air in the room was thick with tension as Ross stood under the dim lighting of his grand entrance, gesturing aggressively toward the camera, holding a lit cigar between his fingers. Ross's deep, booming voice echoed through the speakers with a chilling, terrifying authority. "You done crossed every single line in the book, Curtis. You out here pimping the dead. You talking about Tupac's estate, talking about unreleased vocals? Pac been dead 30 years. Let the man rest in peace. You ain't honoring Pac. You cashing out on a ghost because your own records don't move no more. You disrespecting 30 years of West Coast history for a quick corporate check. I'm telling you right now, keep Pac's name out your mouth and stop disrespecting the estate before this thing steps off the internet and gets real dangerous for you on the ground." The threat was so raw, so direct, and so terrifyingly unedited that commentary channels and live viewers froze in complete, breathless shock, realizing that Ross had just elevated a digital feud into an explicit, physical street warning. This wasn't a playful back and forth about sales numbers or jet charters. This was a line drawn in the dirt by a man claiming to defend the honor of a fallen icon. Ross didn't stop there. He leaned closer into the camera lens, his voice dropping into a harsh, rasping growl as he tore into 50 Cent's business ethics and executive reputation. He accused 50 Cent of turning his back on female creators like Power creator Courtney Kemp while manipulating corporate loopholes to cash in on Tupac's name. Ross claimed that the entire collaboration was built on shady boardroom politics rather than genuine respect for the culture, alleging that 50 was desperately clinging to legacy names because his own creative pipeline had completely dried up. Every word was delivered with an exaggerated, terrifying emotional intensity that left no doubt about Ross's motives. He wanted to strip 50 Cent of his executive credibility and frame him as an opportunistic parasite exploiting a dead man's vault. The video spread like wildfire across X, Instagram, and YouTube within seconds of uploading. Group chats exploded, live streams were interrupted, and the entire hip-hop community plunged into a state of intense, speculative panic. Fans were terrified that the decades-old animosity between G-Unit and Maybach Music Group was about to erupt into real-world violence on the streets of Atlanta, Los Angeles, or Miami. Then came the first shocking twist that turned this explosive public warning into an active, high-stakes corporate crisis. Within less than an hour of Ross's video reaching millions of views, leaked internal emails from major music distribution networks began circulating across private Telegram channels and entertainment blogs. The leaked documents revealed that key legal representatives linked to Tupac's original West Coast Circle and primary estate lawyers had reportedly initiated an emergency legal review into the master recording clearances. The leaked correspondence, stamped with high-level corporate headers, showed an intense, frantic debate occurring behind closed doors over commercial distribution rights. Legal reps were actively questioning whether 50 Cent and his distribution partners had full, unconditioned authority to profit from those specific, vaulted vocal takes in a commercial release. The emails hinted that while preliminary paperwork had been discussed, several key stakeholders within the estate had been completely blindsided by 50 Cent's public announcement and were now moving to freeze the audio assets. The revelation that Ross's explosive rant was backed by active legal pushback inside the estate's inner ecosystem sent social media into absolute, unhinged anarchy. Fake Twitter threads and verified blog posts erupted simultaneously. Social media users began sharing screenshots of the leaked emails alongside clips of Ross's threat, causing hashtags like #RossWarns50, #Tupac Estate Controversy, and #50 Cent Exposed to surge to the absolute top of global trending lists. Commentators on live streams began dissecting every single line of the leaked documents, pointing out that if the estate's legal team issued a formal cease and desist, 50 Cent's entire upcoming project could be locked in legal limbo for years. The narrative shifted instantly from a simple rap rivalry to a multi-million-dollar corporate disaster. The emotional fallout inside 50 Cent's camp was reported to be immediate and chaotic. Leaked text messages allegedly sent between G-Unit executives and label distribution heads showed frantic efforts to contain the legal leak. One top-level executive reportedly wrote in a panicked message, "We need to clear up the clearance rumors now. If the distributors think the Pac vocals are tied up in an estate dispute, they're going to pull the promotional budget for the entire rollout before Friday." Meanwhile, Rick Ross doubled down on the chaos, posting a series of cryptic Instagram stories featuring black and white photos of Tupac Shakur accompanied by silent, threatening captions like, "Respect the legacy or feel the consequences. The West remembers." The atmosphere surrounding both artists had become suffocatingly tense. Industry insiders, concert promoters, and brand sponsors were frantically calling security coordinators to evaluate the risk levels for upcoming festival dates where both Ross and 50 Cent were scheduled to appear. What started as a commentary on unreleased music had officially spiraled into a multi-front war involving corporate lawyers, street threats, and leaked legal documents. 50 Cent's biggest release of the year was suddenly facing total, catastrophic collapse, and the entire world was watching, waiting to see how the most ruthless troll in hip-hop history would respond to being backed into a corner. Would 50 Cent offer a rare clarification to protect his multi-million-dollar deal, or would he unleash a counterattack so vicious that it would push this feud past the point of no return? The suspense was unbearable, setting the stage for a second, even more terrifying twist that no one saw coming. If Rick Ross believed his ominous street warning and the estate clearance rumors would force 50 Cent into a defensive retreat, he fundamentally misunderstood the cold, relentless nature of his rival. Curtis Jackson does not back down under pressure. He turns the heat up until the entire room burns to ash. At precisely 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, while the digital world was still reeling from the leaked legal emails, 50 Cent responded with a ruthless, calculated counterattack that escalated this war to a terrifying new level of psychological warfare. 50 didn't issue a formal press release through a publicist. Instead, he posted a video of himself sitting back in the leather interior of his luxury Maybach, holding a cup of iced coffee and laughing maniacally directly into the camera lens. His expression was devoid of any fear, worry, or stress. It was the face of a man who had been waiting for his opponent to walk directly into a trap. He didn't offer an apology, nor did he attempt to smooth over the street threats. He doubled down with maximum, unfiltered disrespect, writing a savage caption that immediately set the internet on fire. "Haha, Ricky is mad because the estate called me, not him. You talking about dangerous? Bro, you was a corrections officer in Florida, wearing a crisp uniform and holding a clipboard while Pac was making history on the West Coast. Don't talk about West Coast business you don't own, officer." The check is cleared, the song is dropping with Eminem, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Go check on your 19K album sales and your rented Airbnb house before you talk to a real mogul. The caption was a masterclass in targeted character assassination. In a single paragraph, 50 managed to drag up Ross's correctional officer past, mock his recent commercial album sales, reference the embarrassing Promised Land Airbnb rumors, and confirm that the track featured none other than Eminem, a move designed to maximize emotional damage and dominance. The internet went into complete, uncontrollable pandemonium. Fake Twitter threads exploded across X, with fans producing hilarious memes, reaction videos, and analytical breakdowns of 50's response. Industry figures, hip-hop commentary channels, and viral bloggers began spamming the comment sections with fire emojis, shock expressions, and chaotic predictions. Then came the second, mind-blowing twist that completely changed the narrative and left the entire music industry utterly speechless. Just 20 minutes after his initial video upload, 50 Cent dropped part 2 of his response, a post containing a high-resolution, cropped image of an official, stamped legal agreement bearing the primary seal of the Tupac Shakur Estate Trust. The document showed explicit, signed authorization dated months prior, granting G-Unit Film and Television and its distribution partners full, unconditional master license rights to feature vaulted, unreleased studio session recordings of Tupac Shakur in a multimedia commercial release. 50 hadn't just secured the vocals, he had legally locked them down with the highest primary estate trustees long before Rick Ross ever opened his mouth. The leaked clearance emails that Ross's camp had celebrated were nothing more than routine administrative correspondence between minor secondary distributors attempting to catch up with a deal that was already fully executed at the highest corporate level. 50 Cent captioned the legal document with a single, devastating sentence: "Receipts over noise." The boss doesn't ask for permission. He owns the contract. Checkout time is now, Ricky. The reveal was a soul-crushing, humiliating blow to Rick Ross and his supporters. In an instant, 50 Cent had completely dismantled Ross's culture protector narrative, exposing it as nothing more than an embarrassing, uninformed display of jealousy. 50 publicly framed Ross as an uneducated outsider who had been completely left out of the loop on a historic, multi-million-dollar deal involving Eminem, G-Unit, and the estate of a legend. The industry backlash against Ross was immediate and relentless. Prominent online media personalities and hip-hop journalists began openly mocking Ross's loud street threats, pointing out that he had threatened 50 Cent over a contract he knew absolutely nothing about. A viral thread on X detailed the catastrophic optics of the situation. Rick Ross went on camera screaming about danger and protecting Pac's legacy, only for 50 Cent to post the actual signed contract with the estate 20 minutes later. Ross looks completely uninformed. 50 didn't just win the argument. He made Ross look like a fan watching from the outside. Celebrity responses began flooding in as well. DJ Academics went live on an emergency stream, screaming at his audience while breaking down the legal document on screen. Yo! 50 Cent is playing 4D chess. He didn't just clear the Pac vocals. He got Eminem on the track, locked the contract down months ago, and let Ross scream into a camera for 24 hours just to drop the stamped receipt on his head. It's over. Ross got caught bluffing. However, behind the public clowning and viral memes, a far darker, more sinister reality was taking shape on the ground. While 50 Cent won the legal and digital victory, the personal, street-level tension between the two camps reached an all-time critical danger level. Reports began surfacing from venue security coordinators in Atlanta, Miami, and Los Angeles that private security details for both G-Unit and Maybach Music Group were being doubled. Insiders reported that high-ranking street associates connected to both sides had begun making quiet moves, warning event promoters that if Ross and 50 Cent crossed paths at upcoming festival dates or industry parties, the confrontation would not be limited to social media posts or legal documents. The public victory had only deepened Rick Ross's rage, backing the biggest boss into an extreme emotional corner where his pride, reputation, and legacy were on the line. 50 Cent had proved he had the contracts, but he had also pushed an already dangerous feud straight toward the edge of a violent, unpredictable precipice, raising terrifying new questions about what would happen when the music finally dropped. The fallout from 50 Cent dropping stamped legal receipts, proving he held authorized, primary master licensing rights to the unreleased Tupac Shakur vocals, completely split the hip-hop landscape into chaotic, warring factions. By morning, mainstream entertainment networks, cultural commentators, and millions of fans across X, YouTube, and TikTok were locked in fierce, ideological battles over ethics, corporate clout, and street authenticity. On one side of the digital divide stood diehard G-Unit supporters and casual music fans who viewed 50 Cent's move as an undisputed masterclass in corporate warfare and industry dominance. For this camp, 50 had executed the ultimate double victory, securing a historic, multi-generational track alongside Eminem featuring a fallen icon, while simultaneously exposing Rick Ross as an uninformed, loudmouthed spectator who tried to stop a deal he knew nothing about. The comment sections across major hip-hop platforms were flooded with millions of reactions mocking the Maybach Music Group founder. At Gunnet_tactical_2026, 50 Cent is playing 4D chess while Ricky is playing checkers. Ross went on camera screaming about danger and protecting Pac's legacy, only for 50 to drop a stamped contract from the estate 20 minutes later. Ross looks completely foolish. The boss doesn't ask for permission. He owns the receipts. At culturemetrics_daily. Whether you like 50 or not, getting official clearance from Tupac's estate alongside Eminem is a massive executive flex. Ross tried to use hip-hop ethics to cover up the fact that his own album flopped at number 39, and 50 caught him bluffing on a global stage. Conversely, a passionate, vocal coalition of West Coast purists, hip-hop historians, and loyal Rick Ross defenders rallied around the culture protection narrative. They argued that legally signing a contract with an estate trust does not erase the moral issue of commercializing a dead artist's unreleased vault for modern streaming metrics. Prominent West Coast commentators went live to back Ross's original point, asserting that Tupac's voice should not be weaponized as a promo asset in a 2-decade-long personal rivalry. At Westside_purist_96, having a lawyer sign a contract doesn't mean you should drop the song. Ross was right. Pac has been dead for 30 years. Let the man rest. 50 Cent is using a West Coast legend's ghost to pad his bank account and throw shots at Ross. Some things should be off limits, no matter how much money is involved. At MMG_loyal_forever. Ross was speaking for the real culture. 50 turns everything into a circus for clout. Using unreleased Pac vocals for a movie soundtrack while clowning other artists is pure desperation. Ross stood up for Courtney Kemp and Pac's legacy in the same breath. The debate reached a fever pitch on major morning radio broadcasts and veteran hip-hop podcasts. On The Breakfast Club, hosts engaged in an intense, hour-long debate over whether modern hip-hop has lost its moral compass when handling posthumous releases. Charlemagne the God weighed in on the complex optics, stating, "Look, legally 50 Cent won the argument the second he posted that paper. But culturally, people are uncomfortable. When you mix unreleased Tupac vocals, Eminem features, and a street war with Rick Ross, it stops feeling like art and starts feeling like corporate gladiatorial combat. The lines are completely blurred. Behind the scenes, major corporate record labels, streaming platforms, and festival organizers were paralyzed with anxiety. Executives at major distribution networks quietly called emergency risk assessment meetings following Ross's explicit, "Get real dangerous on the ground" warning. With both 50 Cent and Rick Ross booked as headliners for several major summer music festivals in Atlanta, Miami, and Los Angeles, event security coordinators began demanding mandatory, separated backstage protocols, private security details, and staggered arrival times to prevent the two camps from clashing in the physical world. The industry was officially divided. One side celebrating 50's ruthless, contract-backed executive power, and the other warning that weaponizing a fallen legend's voice in an active, personal blood feud had pushed the entire culture toward a point of dangerous, irreversible instability. The digital war was won on paper, but the real-world tension was rapidly reaching a boiling point where one wrong move could trigger absolute chaos. Just when the world believed 50 Cent had landed the ultimate, definitive knockout blow by waving stamped estate contracts in Rick Ross's face. A final, earth-shattering twist emerged from the shadows of corporate Hollywood that threatens to completely destroy both men's plans. At precisely 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an emergency breaking news bulletin hit the legal dockets in the Central District Court of California. A joint multi-million-dollar emergency motion was officially filed by a powerful, high-level corporate consortium representing the primary film distribution studio backing the soundtrack alongside the primary institutional insurance underwriters. The court document contained a bombshell directive that completely reconfigured the entire war, an immediate, nationwide temporary restraining order seeking to block the commercial release, master distribution, and public streaming of the controversial Tupac Shakur vocal track. The studio wasn't responding to 50 Cent's legal receipts, nor were they responding to Rick Ross's social media rants. They were responding to an active, internal risk management audit triggered directly by Ross's explicit street ultimatum, where he publicly warned that the situation was about to get real dangerous on the ground. According to page 18 of the unsealed court filing, corporate underwriters flagged the project as a high-level security hazard. The studio's legal counsel argued that releasing a track that weaponizes unreleased Tupac vocals in the middle of an active, volatile 18-year blood feud, where threats of physical street violence are being publicly traded between armed entourages, creates an uninsurable liability for public film premieres, red carpet events, and retail brand partners. Read that again. Rick Ross's ominous, dangerous on the ground warning didn't stop 50 Cent on Instagram, but it succeeded in terrifying the multi-billion-dollar corporate suits behind the scenes. By publicly framing the release as a street safety hazard, Ross effectively maneuvered the studio's corporate legal team into freezing the multi-million-dollar master distribution agreement. If the federal judge signs the temporary injunction, 50 Cent's historic, contract-cleared collaboration featuring Tupac and Eminem will be locked in corporate ice, stopping the release dead in its tracks and costing G-Unit film and television millions of dollars in breached promotional deadlines. When news of the emergency studio injunction broke, social media completely lost its mind once again. 50 Cent's official accounts went dead silent for the first time in 48 hours, while rumors began circulating that Curtis Jackson was spotted entering an emergency midnight meeting with his top litigation attorneys in New York. However, sources close to the G-Unit camp claim that 50 Cent is preparing a nuclear counterstrike that could burn the entire music industry to the ground. According to high-level industry leaks, if the corporate studio attempts to pull or freeze the track to appease safety concerns, 50 Cent is allegedly preparing to bypass traditional. Has been spotted making high-level tactical preparations ahead of an unannounced public appearance, proving that despite the corporate legal maneuvers, the street-level tension between these two titan forces has reached an absolute, terrifying point of no return. Will 50 Cent defy the corporate studio and unleash the vaulted Tupac session tapes directly to the public, or will Rick Ross's dangerous warning force the biggest corporate lockdown in hip-hop history? Is this 18-year war about to jump off digital screens and spill over onto the streets live on national news? The battle lines are drawn in concrete, the corporate suits are in full panic, and the next 24 hours will change the course of rap history forever. This has been without a doubt the most dangerous, volatile, and mind-blowing celebrity war we have ever covered on this channel. Now I want to hear directly from you, the realest, most informed community on YouTube. Is Rick Ross right for stepping up to protect Tupac Shakur's 30-year legacy, or was he just using culture protection as an excuse because his own album flopped? Did 50 Cent execute the ultimate executive flex by dropping signed estate receipts, or did he go too far weaponizing a fallen legend's voice in a personal blood feud? Do you think the studio will freeze the release, or is 50 Cent actually going to leak the raw studio session tapes directly to the internet? Drop your wildest theories, deep analyses, and predictions in the comments section down below right now. I am going to be down in the comment section replying to the best and most intense responses all day long. If your mind was completely blown by this emergency breakdown, smash that like button immediately. It helps the algorithm push this update to hip-hop fans all across the globe. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell right now. We are tracking this high-stakes war live as it unfolds, and the second the federal judge rules on the studio injunction, or the moment 50 Cent leaks those studio tapes, we will be dropping an exclusive, emergency follow-up video that you cannot afford to miss. Thank you for watching, stay locked in, and I will see you in the very next video.